Hi, how you doing, and welcome back to another video on the channel. What we have for you today is our preview video going into Game Week 22, and we're going to take a quick review of how my team did in Game Week 21, and then we're going to talk team selection, transfer advice, and captaincy thoughts moving forward. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe, like the video. These videos are coming out thick and fast because there's only 2 days between the end of Game Week 21 and the start of Game Week 22, so any support would be really appreciated. Let's take a look at how my team did in Game Week 21. So as we start with the keepers on the board, not great. Raya again, no clean sheet, and it's getting frustrating right now. I never want to use a free transfer on a keeper, but I might have to in order to save $500,000 and upgrade elsewhere. But he's not an immediate must-solve problem, but he's that one that's never going to be the priority, but has been on the sort of transfer out list for a while now. So we will have to sort of see where we stand with the keepers moving forward. Into defence, it was another pretty good effort, considering that they're all so cheap. Robinson with 2 assists, which we'll get into in a little bit in a second, and Lewis Hall with another clean sheet. I think that's his 5th clean sheet in 6 games, plus he's had some attacking returns to go along with it. It's absolutely fantastic. Colwell, Chelsea, they're just not doing it for me at the moment. And having said that, we probably should have captained Palmer this game week. He got the big returns. Salah, Bruno, Sarr, Bruno and Sarr did all right. Salah didn't, and if you really gambled against captaining Salah, it paid off for you, as long as you basically captained anyone else. Up front, Isak did it again. We actually did make a late transfer. I took out Gabriel Jesus and brought in Mateta. Now, that meant Iwobi stayed on the bench, and as you can see, 15 points, and I was really hoping that someone wouldn't play in my starting 11, because it's not only the fact that Iwobi gets me 15 points, it's the fact that he is so low owned by other managers around my rank that would have really made the impact. So I was even hoping that Isak wouldn't play, because 16 points looks great for Isak, and you might think, well, why don't you want Isak's points? And it's because it doesn't really impact my rank very much, because almost everyone in the top mill has Isak. So therefore, whether he scores 0 points or 16 points, it's almost irrelevant. Whereas if Iwobi's 15 points, they're so much more valuable to rank rise than Isak's points, just because Iwobi is so low owned. So I could have really done with those 15 points off the bench. But if you watch the Fulham game, both those goals weren't even supposed to be goals. They were both where Robinson passed it to Iwobi and Iwobi crossed it in, and it was just missed by everybody and went in both times. And you think, God, I could really do with that luck when I do pick you, because he's blanked in his last 6 games before this. And then when I bench him, he just doesn't. He does all of that. And, Jackson got an assist for 4 points. It's just not great. Because I brought in Mateta, it really ended up being between Mateta and Iwobi for the points. So I was really glad that Mateta returned, because it makes the difference in points 8 rather than 13 or 15. Because if I hadn't brought in Mateta, Jesus would have been on the bench and Iwobi would have started. So that's kind of the difference maker there. So it wasn't as bad as it could have been, but like I say, Iwobi's points are so much more valuable than Isak's for my rank rise. Well, I'm always grateful for points wherever they come from. It does mean we have a green arrow, a whopping green arrow of 2k. That's legit the rank rise this game week. I went from 652k to 650k. And I'll always take a green arrow, but it really is the greyest of grey arrows. If I had a red arrow of 2k, I wouldn't be setting off party poppers and starting a parade. So I've just got to take it as it goes. And it does lend itself to a bit more benching headaches this weekend, but we'll get into that in a second. So in terms of fixtures and captaincy options this game week, I think it's just the same old. You're looking at Salah away at Brentford, possibly a great option. Liverpool maybe questioning their form. They're not going to keep winning all season. They're going to go through a stretch where they draw and lose games. Could that be now? But I still think Salah is a fantastic captaincy option, and probably someone who I'm going with this game week. Isak at home to Bournemouth is also good, but you've got the 12:30 kickoff, so I'm never too sure of captaining someone on a 12:30 kickoff, just because they're used to their sort of routine and their rhythm being at 3 o'clock or on an evening. So I'm just never a fan of captaining someone with the early kickoff. And you can also have Haaland away at Ipswich. What a great captaincy option this week. But then Ipswich, they're quite solid at home. I know they're conceding goals and they're still losing. But I think sometimes people will say, oh, Man City away at Ipswich, that could be 4-0. And it might be, but it's not as clean cut as you think it might be. And, then we've also got Chelsea at home to Wolves. I think Palmer is a good option as well. So for me, I think it would probably be, I think if you owned Haaland, you'd probably captain him. But if you own Salah, you definitely captain him. If you own both, I think it's how risky you feel. If you want to play aggressive and go for the rank rise, you captain Haaland. If you want to play it safe and not drop too far if it goes wrong, you go for Salah. So the team for this game week, again, I've got 4 free transfers, and unless there's some injury news, I don't really need to make a transfer. I've got 1 mil in the bank, and Jackson is on the bench this time, but I just look at my lineup and I think, who do you bench? Really? And this is why I'm not a fan of having a good bench, because, there's loads of players like Semenyo, Diallo that I didn't own this game week, but you never feel quite as bad when you don't own them because they were, in your thoughts too much. When you own them and you bench them and they score points, you think, oh, it was so close to playing them. Really could have, a little change and they could have been scoring me loads of points. And I think they've all got good fixtures. A bit like this game week. Everyone apart from Salah and Colwell and Raya got more than 2 points, which is great. It wasn't necessarily the wrong decision to bench Iwobi because the rest of my midfield and strikers got attacking returns, apart from Salah, and I was never going to bench Salah. So I feel like my squad is quite strong, and I don't necessarily need to use a transfer. My main question is, if you see this video and you want to comment, who would you bench? Because at the moment I'm benching Jackson just because I find him so frustrating, and I could have benched him last game week and then ended up swapping him back in the starting lineup, and he didn't perform as well as I would have hoped. So he's kind of just on the bench because I'm annoyed at the moment. But that could also just change leading up to the game week. Not that I've got a lot of time to make the decision. So like I say, if you do see this and you want to comment who you think I should bench, please do let me know. I'm always interested to chat FPL. Likewise, if you think, if you've got any transfer questions of your own or any benching questions of your own, pop them in the comments. I will get back to you. Like I say, I'm going to be leaving a transfer this game week, and it will be giving me 5 free transfers next week. Someone like Jackson and Colwell are likely to be transferred out. But then Chelsea's fixtures also look quite good coming up, so I feel like I'm just sort of trapped in that Chelsea, bad form but good fixtures, nothing's really happening. And I could swap Jackson for someone like a Chris Wood or, an Ndai or a Calvert-Lewin if I wanted to go risky with the Everton double up. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. Hopefully you had a good game week and you had a bit of a bigger green arrow than I did, and I will see you in the next one.